Motor Group is proud to be one of South Africa's leading dealer groups and always looks forward to serving its customers and communities, especially now in this challenging period of COVID-19. The group intends that their dealerships remain strong, dependable, and secure whilst providing a safe haven for its customers and a risk-free, rewarding place to work for their employees, patrons, and all members of the public during COVID-19 pandemic and beyond. In this edition of Talk the Talk, we welcome Mark Roberts, CEO of Fury Group, to share with you more about his career in motoring SA, current trends, and maybe also, on a lighter note, a sneak preview into who is Mark Roberts. Welcome, Mark, and thank you for joining us.
Thanks, Desh. Good to be here, and good to be chatting to you.
Thank you so much. Mark, why do you think a platform like Women Talk, where we educate and empower women to make their own decisions when buying or maintaining their vehicles, is a necessary essential in this day and age?
Desh, I think it's probably long overdue, actually. I know you always talk about empowering women to make their own decisions. I think in my 30-odd years in the industry, I've certainly seen women go from playing an important role in the decision-making process on buying cars. I think they're now the decision makers. I think I've seen them come from being an influencer on the decision to actually having a very independent view on what they want to drive. I mean, the old days of influencing what the partner drives, I think right now the women say, well, I'm going to choose what I'm going to drive, and I don't mind what my partner drives. He can choose, but my choice is my choice.
Absolutely.
I think, and then the other side is, the increasing role that ladies are playing in the industry. I mean, we're seeing, a very, very strong emergence of ladies throughout the industry in various roles. I mean, in motor retail, just in our group, dealer principals, sales managers, definitely always been strong in the field of F&R managers, but now service managers as well. Excellent service managers coming through in the motor retail side. I mean, the manufacturer side, also for a long time, we've seen, very senior positions being taken by ladies. I mean, a good example is the CEO or the president of General Motors in the US is Mary Barra. A lady heads up one of the biggest motor manufacturers in the world today. So I don't think there's so much need to be empowered. I think they are empowered.
Yes, absolutely. Look, Mark, Fury Motor Group provides a unique car buying experience to their customers, one that focuses on customer satisfaction first. We understand that vehicle purchasing is a necessity, but sometimes unpleasant experience, especially for women. What are your goals to provide our viewers with an enjoyable, honest service by satisfying individual customers' practical transportation needs with quality products and services?
Yeah, I think right across the spectrum of buying, servicing, maintaining your vehicle, choosing, it's about building a trust relationship with the customer. I think that's the most important. So from the time that first inquiry comes in, how you deal with that customer, and the trust is built through the correct advice, understanding the customer's needs and being really honest with the customer. If the product that they choose to like, because often it's a very emotional decision, isn't going to necessarily solve or necessarily be the correct solution for their needs. You need to be honest with them. Don't sell them something that's not going to fit their profile. I mean, it goes through the financing process, giving the correct advice in terms of financing vehicles, giving correct advice in terms of what would be the most suitable vehicle. And also, maybe moving someone from new to used if it's the better idea, or the other way around. And then that whole trust relationship's got to be built. And then through the service phase or the maintenance phase of that vehicle, it's being honest, open, transparent with your customer. That's really the group philosophy, and that's what we try and instill and train into our people.
Absolutely. In these unprecedented times of COVID-19, we also believe it is important to have a safe and secure environment to visit, shop, and test drive vehicles. Have you put measures in place to secure an excellent, safe, and low traffic environment for your walk-in clients?
Desh, from the time that there was an indication that we were going to get back to work and reopen dealerships under level 4, both NAMSA and NADA have been very active in putting suggested processes and protocols in place that dealerships need to follow. I think way in excess of government requirement or DTR requirements or all the other, the health departments, etc. So we followed those guidelines very strictly. In fact, we were ready to go. The long weekend, 1st of May, that Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we spent a huge amount of time preparing our dealerships, getting these protocols in place, the documentation, sanitization processes. Some of our dealerships were ready for that Monday. Others were only ready for the Tuesday, one only for the Wednesday, because we took this very, very seriously. We plan to open this past week. We have been open, but unfortunately it's been on a very restricted basis, only for essential servicing or essential repairs and maintenance. We have been able to, there's been some essential service providers in terms of fleets, security companies, medical requirements, etc., where we've actually supplied some vehicles in this last week to them. But it's been very, very low key, small scale at this point in time, because these government regulations are still not finalized. And now we're more than over a week into this level 4. I think most consumers will be quite surprised when they come into a franchise motor dealer. They're going to realize just what has been put in place. It's like getting into Fort Knox at the moment in terms of protocols. Far safer than going into any supermarket or shopping center environment. So these protocols very, very strictly enforced, and a huge amount of money has been spent on it. A huge amount of money across the industry, not only in Fury.
Okay, that's really great to hear. Mark, I often work with employees of the Fury Group, as you already know, mostly women, of course, and have recognized a mutual respect and reward atmosphere, especially in your dealerships. I work very closely with Portia Mori from Isuzu. So it seems to me as Fury Motor Group has been built on a strong set of company and family values. Will this remain a focus of its foundation as the organization continues to successfully navigate the changing modern automotive industry, particularly with the effects of COVID-19?
Yeah, I think our culture and our values are really important. We're a small group. When I say small, I think we're almost that awkward size. We're getting to be too big, not to be a little bit corporate, but we're not that big where we have to be corporate in the way we go about our structures and the way we run our company. I think we're still very much a family type open door policy group. Everybody in our group is on first name terms. That's been the way. We operate with very little hierarchy, very flat management structures, and that won't change. That certainly won't change. In fact, the pressures brought on by a smaller market will even entrench that further. Yeah.
Okay. So, Mark, Motoring South Africa has given us an abundance of powerful leaders who have devoted their lives to the advancement of automotive practices. I personally believe that you are one of these contributors to motoring South Africa. That's my opinion, by the way. So in your personal capacity, what would you say defines a good leader in their ability to make sensible decisions, especially during catastrophes and trying times like the one we are facing currently?
I think Desh, the firstly, I mean, to say that I've been around the industry a long time and have quite a varied career in the industry across various aspects of the industry. But I think there's many leaders in the industry who've made, have had a massive influence on our industry and how it's developed over time. And I've just played a very small role in a number of spheres in the industry. But I think in a time like this, I think it's very easy to be emotional. There's a lot of emotional decisions to be made. It's important to remain unemotional, calm, but you've got to be decisive in this time. Certainly, and unlike the way I normally go about things, there is a time for consensus decision making, and there's a time for approaching it. I wouldn't say in an autocratic manner. I don't think that's the right word to use, but it's definitely not a time for deliberating for too long, looking for consensus. I don't think it's time for consensus decision making. It's you've got to be decisive, and unfortunately, a lot of decisions are going to be unpopular. But the buck stops with you at the top, and you, as the CEO, the buck stops with you, and you've got to make those decisions. And you're just hopefully making those decisions in the greater interest of all, rather than the minority. You've got to think about the majority here.
Absolutely.
In terms of the company's future.
I agree. MARQ, brilliant leaders of both ancient and modern times have left behind everlasting legacies. I mean, I'm not just talking about the motoring industry. What would you like your legacy to be, and what describes you best?
Yeah, difficult to say what you want your legacy to be in the industry, but you want to leave behind a company that's fit and healthy and operating efficiently and easy for someone else to step into your shoes. No leader is irreplaceable. The easier it is for someone to replace you, the better you've actually done your job, in my opinion. Of course, you would have put the right people in place, succession plans, etc. You'd have the right people in place to step into those positions. I don't think there's any leader that's irreplaceable, to be quite honest. Yeah. Your next question? What was that?
MARQ, what are your hobbies? Tell us a bit about yourself. What do you like to do in your free time?
Look, I think as a leader, I think as a leader, as someone who heads up the business, I think, the motor industry is full of these supposed tough, hard guys. You hear about these. I think that era has passed a long time ago. I think the industry's become a lot more professional over the years. Describe myself, I think I'm a fairly easygoing person. I'm a social being. This working from home, looking at computer screens all the time, I think certainly doesn't sit well with me. I talk about where we're going in the future. Yes, we will use it more. We will use it more in the Fury Group, where it can add to efficiency and cost saving, etc. But I'm looking forward to getting back face to face as much as possible with my team. And I think that's probably going to be a long way away. We're going to be doing this thing in a more responsible way for a long time. But I think there's nothing that will replace face-to-face interaction. I think also that's me. I have my views on all this issue about every seminar you sit in, how the big investments are going to be in online, and yes, there's going to be investment in online, and we need to improve the way we go about things online in terms of, carrying out more of the transaction online. Yes.
Yeah.
For instance, a service booking, take it further to a point where the customer's time in the dealership is limited. And I'm probably digressing here, but if you consider, at the end of the day, a vehicle service can only be done in a dealership. The delivery process and the test drive can only be done in the dealership or at the customer's workplace. Well, there's got to be interaction at some point. And I think, quite honestly, that as much as there's a lot of talk, we've got to guard against this overinvestment, because I think there's in it, because there will be a huge use for it in the next sort of 9 to 12 months. But once this is over, I think there could be underutilization. People are going to want to get back into dealerships. They want to touch and feel whatever they're buying, the motor car, the fridge, whatever. We want to get away from screen time. We want to get it. If you're working from home all week, you don't want to be sitting on your computer or on your phone or your whatever you use on Saturday and Sunday. So you want to get out and get back in the shops, I think. That's my view. Anyway, you actually asked me about my hobbies, did you?
Yes.
Sorry.
Well, on that topic, though, I must say, before you get onto your hobbies, Mark, can you imagine how it feels for a motoring journalist to test drive a vehicle online? So I mean, like, we often in Cape Town or wherever there's the manufacturers or OEMs are launching their vehicles, we get these invites and we go for the launches, and trust me, we're feeling the pinch of this, because like getting together with all of your colleagues on the field and that type of thing is really, really something that we really miss. So the touch and feel of a vehicle as opposed to viewing it online is two different things.
Yeah, and getting on that subject, I mean, I've seen some fantastic presentations at OEM conferences, and about virtual ways to demonstrate a vehicle, etc. All very good innovation. All that will do is really educate the customer more, which is great by the time he gets into your dealership. But it's a massive decision to purchase a motor car. You want to touch and feel it. And the color doesn't look the same on the computer screen as it does. Like, it doesn't look the same in the showroom as it does in the sunlight. So using the color, I mean, is something that doesn't work too good on a screen. It's crazy. We go to these manufacturer conferences, and I always have a quiet chuckle, because you go through, this first speaker will give you this whole online stuff and where the future's going, and we don't need bricks and mortar anymore. And definitely one of the next speakers will get up and talk about how many millions more we're going to be spending in our dealerships over the next year or two. So sometimes it seems like the left hand doesn't know what the right hand's doing. The strategy is not 100% clear. Maybe that's a more polite way to put it.
Yes, Mark. So you were saying
about hobbies. Yeah, I think my big hobbies are sport. I mean, sport's my thing. Watching, participating in sport is my thing. Probably the thing I'm missing most at the moment is live sport on television. And I think that's something we're going to appreciate. I think we're going to be looking so forward to getting back into a stadium, which we've been neglecting doing, because you can rewind and watch the replays on television, etc. So watching and participating in sport, my main sport is hockey. I still play a lot of hockey. Not too much anymore. Still play masters hockey as often as I possibly can. We've just had a tournament now that we've missed out on. It was supposed to be in Cape Town. A Masters Interprovincial tournament was cancelled over this past long weekend. I play golf. I do a bit of mountain biking. Yeah, so
Sure.
that's my that's my thing. Yeah.
Wow. Is that why you're in such great shape and you never have to diet?
Well, there's no ways that you can, you can only see from your app. So not everybody in my family says I'm in that great shape. I still get a lot of lectures from my sons who are fanatical runners and
Oh, wow.
triathletes, etc. So I still get lectured by them that I don't do enough hours out running or cycling.
Okay, so Mark, obviously I like to ask this question, especially to people that have been in this industry for almost the years I've been alive. So teach me something I don't know.
Yeah, look, I think that you're a journalist, so something that I always have a quite laugh at is how we construct our advertising, and the OEMs, and we'll focus on all the pragmatic decisions, about reliability and fuel economy and all those things. Yes, but they come way down. We're actually in the fashion business. We're in the fashion business. If you're not a if the vehicle is not as a tool of trade, buying a car is an emotional decision, and it gets down to style and design, style and what it looks like. And I think that plays still the biggest role, is how a vehicle looks, and how appealing it is. And different styles are appealing to different people. There's these styles that try to be different, and that certainly is appealing to that segment of the market. So from my point of view, I think that as a journalist, I think we write about, or when I say we, you will write about the stuff that you have to, the facts and the figures, and how much leg room and how much headroom and all those sorts of things. But at the end of the day, if the thing is damn good looking, nobody bothers how much headroom there is. Okay, they buy it. And I'll tell you something else you don't know is what do you think makes the biggest difference to the style of a motor car? What do you think is the biggest?
Could be a number of things. Are you talking about the design or the design?
No, just the visual appeal. What is the most influential thing in the visual appeal?
Sure, I don't know. Maybe the lines or the grill. I don't the lights. I don't know.
The biggest thing that makes the biggest influence are the wheels. The wheels.
Yes.
That's what they often don't get. They design magnificent styles. The design of the vehicle is magnificent. Then they put the wrong size wheels and ugly wheels on the car. That's it.
You,
That
yes, I
wheels are the most
agree.
influential thing. Maybe it's because in my days in the component side, I was in the wheel business, that I have such strong views about wheels.
No, it actually does make sense, because if I had to buy a vehicle and then change just the put in, we Indians, especially the guys, right? They always into these mags and these nice looking. So I know that what you're saying has a lot of truth to it, Mark. Definitely. Mark, I just thought, is there anything else you'd like to add?
No, I think if you've got everything you need, that's great. I mean, yeah, thanks very much.
I'd like to say thank you, Mark, so much. From the moment I met you, you were very enthusiastic about my endeavors and about my objective to empower women in South Africa in terms of motoring, offer them a platform that they could look to, and just yours and all these wonderful men and women that are working in the motoring trade, that are supporting my initiative. It's such a boost of encouragement for me. You even attended my Motoring Woman of the Year Awards, something that it's the first in South Africa, first in the world attributing awards in this field to women that are playing important roles in contributing to the advancement of women in motoring. So I thank you so much for just being there for me, being there for this platform, and showing us all this encouragement that you constantly are showing us. I thank you so much.
Thank you, Desh. Thanks for inviting me to do this interview, and good luck with your ventures as you move forward with it. I'm sure it's going to be a great success.
Thank you very much, Mark.